Every empire leaves a shadow. Every shadow hides a story. Welcome to Shadows of the Past.
Every empire leaves a shadow. Every shadow hides a story. Welcome to Shadows of the Past. Tracking the lost Zanja Madre, the hidden 19th century water system. Beneath downtown streets. The ghost beneath the asphalt. If you're walking through the busy streets of Los Angeles surrounded by towering glass skyscrapers, crowded sidewalks and endless traffic, you probably believe everything important about this city exists above ground. But what if the real foundation of Los Angeles lies buried beneath your feet, right now just a few meters below the pavement? There are brick tunnels older than the city itself, damp quarters carved in the 1800s, forgotten engineering that once carried the lifeblood of an entire settlement. This hidden system is known as the Zanja Madre. The name means mother ditch, and without it Los Angeles might never have existed. Today historians, engineers and urban explorers are trying to track the remaining fragments of this lost 19th century water network, a subterranean relic that still quietly shapes the modern city. To understand its story, we need to travel back to a time when Los Angeles wasn't a massive metropolis, but a fragile desert outpost struggling to survive. A city born of water. In 1781, a small Spanish settlement was founded along the banks of the Los Angeles River. The settlement was officially named El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora, La Reina de Los Angeles. At the time, the surrounding landscape was dry, unpredictable and unforgiving. Rain was rare, and without a reliable water source, the settlement would fail. So the early settlers built something remarkable. Using little more than shovels, bricks, and knowledge of gravity, they created a canal that diverted water from the Los Angeles River directly into the Pueblo. That canal became the Zanja Madre. From this main channel, smaller ditches branched outward, carrying water to homes, farms, gardens, and livestock. In essence, the entire city depended on this single system. Every drop of drinking water, every irrigated crop, every fountain and washing basin, all of it flowed through the mother ditch. More than a failed settlement in the desert. Descent into the mother ditch. Fast forward to the present day. Downtown Los Angeles is now a dense urban core, filled with high-rise buildings, parking structures, and concrete. Without the Zanja Madre, Los Angeles would have remained nothing. Streets. But somewhere beneath this modern infrastructure, parts of the original Zanja Madre still exist. Researchers recently gained access to one of the surviving sections, hidden beneath a modern parking garage. The entrance was almost invisible. Behind a maintenance door, a narrow corridor led downward into darkness. The temperature dropped immediately. The air smelled damp. At the bottom of the passage, brick walls emerged from the shadows, arched, narrow, and surprisingly intact. This was part of the original water conduit, a tunnel built more than a century ago. The channel itself was only a few feet wide, just large enough to carry a steady stream of river water through the city. Yet despite earthquakes, urban development, and decades of neglect, the structure remained remarkably strong. The bricks were hand-laid, the mortar was thick and durable, and the entire system relied on a simple but brilliant principle: gravity. Water flowed naturally downhill from the river into the canal through the Pueblo, and eventually back into the surrounding land. No pumps, no electricity, just physics, the subterranean architecture of survival. For decades, the Zanja Madre quietly sustained the growing settlement. But as Los Angeles expanded during the 1800s, water became more valuable and more contested. Farmers needed irrigation, Residents needed drinking water. Businesses needed supply for construction and industry. Soon disputes over water access began to escalate. Historians now refer to these conflicts as the early water wars of Los Angeles. Powerful landowners competed for control of the canal. Some attempted to divert water illegally. Others demanded new infrastructure. Eventually, the city began modernizing its water system, replacing the old ditch network with pipes, reservoir, and larger aqueduct projects. By the late 19th century, the Zanja Madre was slowly abandoned. Sections were filled with soil, others were sealed beneath new roads. Entire segments disappeared under buildings. What was once the city's lifeline was gradually buried beneath the growing metropolis, mapping the invisible empire. Today, much of the original canal system remains hidden underground, but modern technology is helping researchers rediscover it. Using ground-penetrating radar, engineers can skim beneath streets and sidewalks without digging. These scans reveal hollow spaces, brick structures, and buried channels that match historical maps of the Zanja Madre. In some areas, the discoveries are astonishing. Entire sections of the old canal appear, preserved beneath parking lots and office buildings. Some parts run directly under modern landmarks. Others snake beneath residential blocks, where residents have no idea what lies below. To better understand the network, researchers are now building a 3D digital map of the system by combining radar scans, historical documents, and architectural surveys. They are slowly reconstructing the full path of the Zanja Madre through downtown Los Angeles. What they're discovering is that the canal system was far larger and more sophisticated than previously believed. In many ways, it functioned like a primitive urban plumbing grid, a hidden hydraulic empire that once sustained the entire city. Echoes of the past in the modern city. What makes the Zanja Madre truly fascinating is that its influence hasn't completely disappeared. Even today, the original water routes still affect how parts of the city behave. Engineers have found that soil above the old canal sometimes holds moisture differently than surrounding areas. This can suddenly influence the stability of building foundations. Thermal imaging has also revealed temperature differences along sections of the old route. In other words, even though the canal stopped functioning over a century ago, its underground footprint continues to shape the city. The past is literally built into the ground beneath Los Angeles. Lessons for the future. Ironically, the ancient design principles behind the Zanja Madre are becoming relevant again. Modern cities around the world are facing increasing water shortages, climate change, drought, and growing populations are forcing engineers to rethink how water systems are designed. The Zanja Madre relied on something incredibly simple: natural gravity-fed flow. It required almost no energy and minimal mechanical infrastructure. Some urban planners are now studying these older systems to develop more sustainable water solutions for the future. Sometimes the most advanced ideas come from the past, emerging back into the light. Eventually, the exploration comes to an end. The team climbs back through the narrow access corridor and emerges once again into the bright streets of modern Los Angeles. Traffic rushes past. Pedestrians cross intersections. Towering skyscrapers reflect the California sunlight. To most people, the city appears entirely modern, but now we know something different. Beneath the asphalt, hidden behind layers of concrete and steel, lies the skeleton of the city's first infrastructure. A fragile network of brick tunnels that once carried the water that made Los Angeles possible. The Zanja Madre may no longer flow, but its story continues to shape the city above it. Because sometimes the most important parts of a city are the ones buried beneath it, waiting quietly in the dark